He knew exactly what kind of night it was going to be. The boos were loud, relentless, and personal. Michigan State fans didn't need to just greet the Michigan coach with the usual rivalry noise. They unloaded everything they had. Chants, jeers, and expletives rained down before the game even started. Instead of backing away, May smiled, bumped a fist, and casually took his seat, looking completely at ease in one of the toughest environments in college basketball. Later, he admitted there was no chance he was ducking the moment. If this was going to be a test, Michigan was ready to take it head-on. What followed was exactly that, a test, a brutal one. Michigan came in ranked number 3, riding momentum, confidence, and belief. But Breslin Center has a way of humbling teams, and for much of the second half, it looked like Michigan was about to experience that familiar heartbreak once again. The Wolverines hadn't won in East Lansing in 8 years. They had lost 4 straight games in the rivalry. History was heavy, and Michigan State made sure it felt that weight. Michigan controlled the first half with authority. The Wolverines built a 42-26 halftime lead behind strong rebounding, disciplined shot selection, and timely three-point shooting. Yaxel Lendeborg dominated inside. Elliot Cadeau orchestrated the offense with calm precision, and Michigan played like a team that expected to win. The crowd was loud, but Michigan wasn't rattled, at least not yet. Everything changed after halftime. Michigan State came out with urgency, aggression, and desperation. A lineup adjustment sparked life into the Spartans, and suddenly the pace flipped. Turnovers fueled transition chances, the defense became suffocating, and the crowd roared back into the game. Over the first 13 minutes of the second half, Michigan State outscored Michigan 33-15, what had been a 16-point. Michigan lead disappeared completely, turning into a 59-57 Michigan State advantage with just under 7 minutes remaining. The building was shaking. Momentum had fully shifted. For a moment, it felt like the familiar script was writing itself again, but this Michigan team didn't fold. When the pressure peaked, Elliot Cadeau stepped forward. Calm when chaos surrounded him, Cadeau slowed the game down, attacked gaps, and delivered when it mattered most. He finished with 17 points and 6 assists, but his biggest impact came late when every possession felt like survival. His layups steadied Michigan. His three-pointer with just over 3 minutes left gave the Wolverines breathing room. In those moments, Cadeau played like a veteran who understood exactly what the moment required. Yaxel Lendeborg was equally critical. His 26 points and 12 rebounds anchored Michigan when things threatened to spiral. Time and again, he made big plays late, offensive rebounds, tough finishes, and free throws that silenced the crowd. Trey McKinney, coming off the bench, delivered 2 massive three-pointers that stopped Michigan State runs and restored rhythm when the offense desperately needed it. Michigan State had its own hero in Jeremy Fears Jr., who played the game of his life. He poured in 31 points on 20 shots, dished 7 assists, and forced turnovers that fueled the comeback. His energy electrified the crowd, and his confidence never wavered. When he clapped to the fans during the surge, it felt like Michigan State was about to complete something special. But as strong as the comeback was, it ran out of steam when it mattered most. The Spartans struggled from beyond the arc, hitting just 4 of 23 three-point attempts, a brutal stat for a team trying to complete a comeback. Second chance scoring, usually a Michigan State strength, disappeared. Despite matching Michigan with offensive rebounds, the Spartans were outscored badly on putbacks and loose ball opportunities. That difference showed late, when Michigan kept generating extra possessions while Michigan State came up empty. As the final minutes ticked away, Michigan took control. Cadeau scored. Lendeborg finished through contact, free throws piled up after a late technical foul, and the Wolverines closed the game with poise. When the final buzzer sounded on an 83-71 Michigan victory, it marked more than just another win. It was Michigan ES' first victory at the Breslin Center since 2018. It snapped a 4-game losing streak in the rivalry. And it proved that this team could survive adversity in one of college basketball's most hostile environments. For Michigan State, frustration poured out afterward. Tom Izzo didn't hide his disappointment, pointing to poor execution, missed opportunities, and a lack of consistency. The effort was there, especially in the second half, but the details weren't. Turnovers, missed threes, and empty possessions ultimately buried a comeback that had been full of promise. For Michigan, the win carried weight. At 20-1 and 10-1 in Big Ten play, the Wolverines stayed tied atop the conference standings and passed a major emotional test. Dusty May emphasized composure afterward, knowing these teams will meet again, and that rivalry games never truly end. But on this night, in this building, Michigan earned something it hadn't had in 8 years. A win that felt earned, hard-fought, and defining. "This was electric," May said afterward, and there was no better way to describe it. Not just because of the crowd or the rivalry, but because of what Michigan showed when everything started to slip. They stayed composed, they stayed connected, and when the moment demanded it, they rose above history instead of being crushed by it.